And good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our session hosted by Kampilan. The topic assigned to me is from teaching to leading, its rewards and challenges. But in our session, I won't only focus on that, but it's more of a testimonial. I'll be sharing with you my experiences and more of myself. All right? So I hope that is okay with you. According to Eleanor Roosevelt, it is today we must create the world of the future. So what about you? Have you started creating the world of the future? I was born out of wedlock. Both my parents had families when they had an illicit affair, a taboo relationship indeed. Hence my mother planned to abort me, but my grandmother prodded her. Stop! Who knows? Your son might be the next president of the Philippines. This anecdote led me to believe that if I might not be the president of the country, but I could be a president or head of an agency. Indeed, it was made possible. At the age of 6, I was abandoned by my mother and never saw my father until I reached 20. And that was only once, and he died pretty soon. You could just imagine how I lived my life without the custody of my parents. I struggled, dreamt, believed, and survived. Fast forward. Now, this is this is me living my dream. Pleasant day, beloved teachers and leaders. I am Reynaldo B. Garnace, now a golden man, but I consider myself successful in all the achievements I have had from grade 1 as a working student to high school until I finished my Bachelor of Science in Education, major in English and minor in music from Holy Infant College, finishing with flying colors and numerous awards. My experiences molded me to become the best version of myself amidst the challenges and insurmountable obstacles I sojourned in life. This is my real story unfolding, and the rest is a history. According to an adage, there's no president, no doctor, no lawyer without a teacher. Even if I never wanted to be a teacher, I embrace it since my aunt promised me that she will support me if I would enroll in teaching. After finishing education, I enrolled in law for a semester, but I felt burdened with the loads as teacher and student. So I imagined to be a manager and enrolled in master in management. But at that time, I started to love teaching and thought I could be a principal. So I enrolled in administration and supervision instead. I was about to write my thesis when the dean of the graduate school did not credit my units earned from another university and said, if you can follow the policy, you quit and come back when I die. Oh my God. I jokingly said, Opo, mom, and thank you. To make the story short, I pursued a vertically aligned degree, Master in Language Teaching. After graduating, I heard that the dean got terribly sick. So I went back and wrote my thesis, copying my second master. Literally, I never wanted to stop schooling, so I went back to the university to pursue Doctor of Arts in Language Teaching. All my degrees added cap to my feathers and allowed me to be promoted to special science teacher 4 with a salary grade of 22 in 2006. One of the recommendations of my dissertation said that as humanities teacher in Pisay, one has to be adept in science as well. So, I enrolled in general science and finished a diploma in teaching science. So without me knowing it, such degrees gave me a ticket to be invited as visiting faculty in the Bahamas to teach core sciences like physics, chemistry, biology, and general science. I took the risk to resign from government service and hone my teaching prowess abroad. But that was short-lived, since my family needed me home badly as my kids were only 3, 5, 7, 9 years old then. I took the risk again to return home jobless. Immediately, I went back to my beloved alma mater, Holy Infant College, to pay visit. When asked where I was connected with, I said, I'm jobless, sister. The president offered me a job to teach and be the coordinator of the students' affairs. After a year, I was promoted as the Dean of College of Education and Liberal Arts. The experience was both humbling and fulfilling. At the same time, I was invited by the University of the Philippines, Manila School of Health Sciences to be a senior lecturer and part-time teacher in Philippine Science High School Eastern Visayas campus. Life was good then, but I was apprised the position for director in PSH's EVC was open. So I tried my luck. November 8, 2012, when I was driving my motorcycle together with my adopted daughter to report for work at Pisay. There was a Pajero in front of us running so fast. I also drove faster so I could catch my classes. Unexpectedly, the driver slowed down, so I swerved to the right, not to bump the car, and fortunately, the car swerved to the right as well. So we collided, causing damage to our vehicles. Good thing my daughter was a ballet dancer. She flew high, and I caught her from the near-death experience from the ground. So we were like dancing pas de deux. So we were spared from that experience. Quickly, we rode a bus, we went to the clinic, and I went to my class. Suddenly, I got a call saying, Dr. Garnace, congratulations, you are now the director of BSH's EBC. What a sweet test of faith, indeed. When I assumed as director of BSI, the campus was gloomy then. So I, st- so I started refurbishing it and brought colors by repainting all the buildings and placed a standee I love Pisay at the entrance and exit of the gates, just to remind the students and employees to love Pisay amidst the challenges and transformation they went through. My priority projects were the completion of gym, repaintings of all buildings, and site development. Everything stood proud and beautiful when Typhoon Yolanda hit eastern Visayas in November 8, 2013, and badly damaged as well, losing about 100 million worth of infrastructures and facilities. Some of our students moved to other campuses, while others waited for the resumption of classes. I moved heaven and earth to refurbish, beautify, and regain its glory that was beside EVC. So that was our road to recovery. After 1 month, all the buildings were roofed from donations and classes resumed. We made use of whatever resources we received from benevolent sponsors here and abroad and generated more than 20 million supportive cash and resources to pursue the education of the scholar ng bayan. Amidst the devastation, I took it an opportunity to pursue my dreams for the campus to be globally competitive and revealed it according to my vision. World class, state of the art, and interconnected environmental and calamity proof structures. Being the 10th campus out of 10 campuses nationwide in the OPCAT ranking, I took it as a challenge to improve the performance of the students and the campus. Together with the faculty, I initiated more clubs and sports varsity teams for the students to enjoy while learning. I organized student learning support program where the directors listers tutored those who have substandard grades. I challenged everyone to increase the performance of the campus one step at a time in OPCAT. I also encourage the scholars and teachers to increase the directors listers from 0 to 5% to 15 to 30% and no probation and termination. Lo and behold, the directors listers soared to almost 50% every quarter, and a batch even had 57 out of 85 or 67% directors listers graduates. Amazing, right? Consequently, the following year, EBC ranked 8 out of 11, then 6 out of 12 in OPCAT. Such an amazing feat again. For 6 years as director of PSH's EBC, as a steward, I am proud to reckon that I propelled the school to be the top one in the Visayas from the last ranking in PSH's campuses in college admission examinations and represented the country in NASA, California by producing the 2016 and 17 Breakthrough Junior Challenge Grand Champion, garnering for the student, the school, and the mentor about $400,000. Within my 6 year leadership, the campus forged international exchange programs and produced world champions in robotics, informatics, research, and Olympiads, and brought scholars to the best universities here and abroad. Not to mention the current rehabilitation and refurbishment of a world-class school and the rubbles brought about by Typhoon Yolanda that wrecked the school and where about 3,000 evacuees were housed. I could not thank enough the concerted efforts put in by the faculty and staff, parents, scholars, and all the stakeholders of BSHs. After the exhilarating journey, I felt the surge to be planted in an environment where I could flourish more and yield more fruits, not only for the students, but the future educators and the whole country. Albeit I had second thoughts being invited to apply as Chief Administrative Officer due to demotion and lesser remuneration, but I took courage and considered it my stepping stone to be of greater service to my beloved alma mater, the Leyte Normal University. So finishing my master and doctorate degrees in LNU pushed me to pay it forward. For almost 2 years, I have been working with the university. I am delighted that I became instrumental in the donation of the province of Leyte of a 5 hectare lot for a satellite campus and the implementation of the 5 major projects amounting to about 400 million pesos in 2020 and more infrastructure projects amounting to about 325 million for 2021. I am also instrumental in the ISO certification of the university, accreditation of the SPED program being the coordinator, establishment of the academic kiosk in 8 municipalities of Region 8 for the continuity of learning at this pandemic time. Being the administrator of the university, I can beam and proudly say that I have been instrumental as well to the beauty and grandeur that is LNU today. There is more to come for Leyte Normal University. Having learned the culture and system of the university and being encouraged and supported by the members of the community, I have gained the confidence to embark into another journey. Wrapping up my qualifications, I can vouch I am a well-rounded person. I have finished Bachelor of Science in Education, majored in English, and minor in music, and a diploma in science teaching, and earned 4 master's degrees, Master of Arts in Education, major in General Science, major in Administration and Supervision, Master of Arts in Teaching, major in Language Teaching, and Master of Arts in Special Education. I also pursued Doctor of Arts, major in Language Teaching, and Juris Doctor. I was granted a scholarship with the Development Academy of the Philippines and earned a diploma in Public Management Development Program under the Senior Executive class and a fellowship on leadership in Queensland University of Technology, Australia. Experience-wise, I have taught almost all subjects related to my degrees in the last 27 years, conducted relevant trainings, and presented papers here and abroad. All these achievements for the last years of my stints as teacher and leader allowed me to be recognized by Breakthrough Junior Challenge, Australian Alumni Excellence Awards, by Australian Embassy of the Philippines, Outstanding Leadership in Education and Rising to the Challenge of Excellence in Education by Unified Federation, Phil-Am Educators, Washington, D.C., US of A. UNESCO Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum Prize finalist for outstanding practice and performance in enhancing the effectiveness of teachers. Filipino International Teaching Service Award in New York. Outstanding Educator Award. 7 Sangya Awards to name a few. As I reckon my journey 50 years ago, I can truly say that the prediction of my grandmother that I'd be a head of agency came to a reality. So I have prepared my journey, prayed for God's guidance and intervention, and I believe I have done my job so well. A leader has the vision and conviction that a dream can be achieved. He inspires the power and energy to get it done. I hope that the sharing earlier gave you a picture of how is it to be a teacher, becoming a leader. What are the rewards and challenges? So it's only a portion of the cake that I'm sharing with you. And we will still continue some important lessons, challenges that I went through as a teacher and leader myself. As a teacher, if you have special projects to be done, you can have your own acronym of what the project that you want. And as an administrator as well, you can also have your own acronym. So when I applied for the director position in Philippine Science High School, so this was my 10-point agenda. I coined it as PSI Cares. So P stands for professionalism. I stands for international linkages. S stands for SMT promotion. A for academic excellence. Y for youth empowerment. And for cares, we have the following. C for curriculum. A for assessment. R for research. E for environmental protection, and S for service oriented. So I don't have to explain everything. So I just want to have a walkthrough of my 10-point agenda when I applied for the director. So maybe when you have projects as a teacher and as a leader yourself, so you can consider what your agenda is, right? Okay, so the next slide will be a video, which for me I consider as a punctuation of my career as a teacher and a leader. I mentioned that earlier in the slide presentation that our campus had a student named Hilary Day Nandales who won $400,000 for her scholarship, which was $250,000, and then $100,000 for the school laboratory, and then $50,000 for the teacher. It's about 23 million worth of prize. Can you imagine? So almost 12,000 entries of the video all over the world. About 157 countries participated, if I'm not mistaken. And then our student bested all the contestants all over the world. And now she is studying at just the number one university in the world, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in US of A. So why do I say it's punctuation of my career because, you know, going up to the stage and representing my country in NASA, California for an awarding ceremony, for me, it's really a reward, right? So in the video, I will also be giving a speech. So watch this.
How many Albert Einsteins and Marie Curies have come and gone unknown because they lacked the ability to describe their own ideas? Sadly, the brightest spark will die if it does not catch. That's why we need not just great scientists, but great communicators who can tell nature's story in a way that grips us. In so doing, they expand their circles of enlightenment to encompass thousands. To introduce you to an incredible young science communicator, please welcome one of the founders of the Breakthrough Prize, Julia Milner, and Golden Globe nominee and author, Lily Collins.
In my advocacy for anti-bullying and self-empowerment causes, I have found that the biggest gift a child can be given is the opportunity to communicate. By having the chance to express themselves, kids not only discover who they are, they can change the entire culture.
We wanted to inspire the next generation with big ideas in math and science, and the people who really know how to talk to kids are kids themselves. That's why 3 years ago, together with Priscilla Chan and with support from Khan Academy, we established the Breakthrough Junior Challenge, a video competition for high school students. The winner this year is a remarkable science communicator.
Now is a very, very great time to live for science since there are so many unknown questions around the world that need answers. Exactly what number is this? She says it's 6. She says it's 9. So who's right? In my video, one of the recurring themes is how I apply physics to real life. It makes people relate to the concepts on a much deeper level. The really mind-blowing idea here is that observers in different frames will perceive different versions of the same reality. And every observer's frame is equally valid.
Hillary has a really bright future. What makes her special is that she asks questions beyond our lesson. Sometimes she finds the answer by herself. She goes beyond.
I was 14 at the time in 8th grade. We were really, really surprised when just suddenly the water came crashing down on our windows. Everything broke. We had to rush to the attic. The Pacific Ocean just crashed inside our house and it filled the entire house within about 3 minutes or so.
After the typhoon, everything was gone. So we have to start from scratch. That was tough, having no school facilities at all.
It's a great honor for me to have a lab provided for the school. I get to help people tangibly through this lab, and it feels especially great since it aligns with one of my biggest advocacies to extend science education to others. Once we come to understand physics, we would start to get deeper and deeper into understanding the universe. That's one of the skills that I think would make a better society. People who can think deeper than what it is at face value.
And tonight, we have a surprise for Hillary. He just arrived to celebrate her achievement.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the director of Philippine Science High School, Reynaldo Garcia.
Splendid evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hillary, remember this song? To reach the unreachable star. Truly, you have imbibed in you the vision of the school, a passion for excellence, pursuit of truth, and service to the nation. I congratulate you and your family for this feat. We're all in this together. Your dream is now a reality. Let your star shine and be the best scientist and expert that you can be. Salamat po at magandang gabi.
For her short film, Relativity and the Equivalence of Reference Frames,
The winner of the 2017 Breakthrough Junior Challenge is Hilary Andalas.
I've always looked up to two kinds of stars, those that shine at night, enchanting my mind about the universe, and those that shine before me now, these amazing scientists, inspiring me with their genius and tenacity to pursue the truth. I'm grateful that this award has allowed me to become a rising star with even bigger dreams. May this inspire more young people, especially my dear Filipinos, to look up and become scientists themselves, the stars that we all should look up to. Thank you to all those who supported me throughout this journey. Maraming salamat po.
Alright, so how was the video? Did you enjoy? Are you proud of being a Filipino? I could not be prouder to go on stage in NASA, California to represent our country for that feat. So thank you so much. Right, so after my stint as a director of Philippine Science High School, so I went to the Leyte Normal University as Chief Administrative Officer and supported the president in all the projects, especially the completion of the infrastructures in the university. I had the statement of plans also, and my philosophy is as a leader, I embrace a philosophy that the true leader is a true servant. Hence, I promise and uphold to be a leader. As a leader, love my work and the people I serve and work with, empower the constituents I serve, appreciate the efforts of the people, develop potential leaders by inspiring them, empathize with their personal stories and concerns, and respect the uniqueness of every person made in the image and likeness of God. So how about you? How are you as a leader? I'd like also to share with you my 9-point agenda and development goals in Leyte Normal University. That's supposed to be the picture of the Integrated Laboratory School, Leyte Normal University campus in Palo, a nearby municipality from. So this was my agenda. World-class teacher education and diverse disciplines, establish exchange programs, leader in SMT research, sports and arts, outstanding in operations as ISO certified, values-oriented community, empowered graduates and alumni, level 4 accredited, and COPC compliant, nobility of character, and then university for everyone. So this will only serve as an example to you when you become a leader yourself. So, what are your plans as a leader? All right, so take a look at this Wordle. So, in leadership, there are things that you have to consider in terms of responsibilities, decision making, ethics, techniques, as well in management also. So consider participative leader, discover the potentials of the people, their challenges that you're going to experience. You have to delegate responsibilities. Of course, you need the skills, information. Sometimes you can be authoritarian, so it depends on the style that you have, and so on and so forth. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, the next video will be about the 21st century education. So I am including this in my slides so that you will have a picture of what types of learners do we have at this time, no? And how we're going to adjust to our learners, especially during this pandemic time. Enjoy watching this video and learning lessons about being a teacher and a leader. So what are the rewards and challenges expected of us? All right, so did you learn so much from that video presentations? And moving on, I'd like to recap my presentation with a few slides coming up. So this one is the 5 roles for a teacher leader. A teacher is a person who will have to fill many roles. You believe so? They are people with educational leadership skills, and they must continue to grow and develop as professionals. Anyone seeking to be a teacher should take advantage of any chance they get to grow as a person and as a teacher. So these are the roles that you play. You become a resource person of your students, your co-teachers, or your mentors. You can be a resource person, and you also give support to the people around you, to the students, to the parents, and to your co-teachers as well. You give support to all the stakeholders, and you also serve as a mentor. So you mentor the students, even the teachers, even the administrators. You also mentor them, and you extend a helping hand. It's very important that we help each other. And then at the same time, you also are a learner. So you also learn from other people and you also learn from students because, in the class, it's not a cup, uh, teacher to cup relationship. It would be better if it's really a cup to cup or a pitcher to pitcher relationship, right? So that means there is sharing of knowledge because there is no monopoly of knowledge. So teacher leadership variables include school improvement planning. It's very important that when you go to school, you think about what you want to happen. So you should have plans for the school. As what I presented to you earlier, you have your agenda. Then selecting instructional materials and resources. You should be very creative and innovative what you're going to include and consider what is available that you have that you can develop. Devising teaching techniques because you have to know the learning styles of your students and the multiple intelligences of the students. So it's not supposed to be a one size fits all, but it should be no child left behind. So the pedagogies that you prepare should fit the learners. And then setting grading and student assessment practices is very important that we have matrix and rubrics, how we're going to rate our students, more on student centric, more on giving the autonomy of learning to our students. Determining the content of in-service professional development programs is very important that we continue to grow professionally. And then when we have gained that through formal schooling, maybe, or through conferences, seminars, and workshop, or research sharing, or professional sharing also of what we've learned, no, from the trainings that we've attended. So it's very important that we know which content should we acquire, should we learn. Then establishing student discipline procedures. That's also part of our work as teachers and leaders. Providing input on how the school budget will be spent. You know that we have very limited budget from our MOE, so we have to be very careful, scrutinize everything, consider the priority that we're going to use to spend, but it's also important to connect with the stakeholders to get support if we have special projects. So we must continue also to uh, do activities, no, even with the limited resources. And then the selection of teachers new to the school is also very important. So we have to look into the potentials, the capabilities of the teachers, and at the same time the character. But it should really be good if the hiring of teachers should be based on merits and fitness. It's what you know, but not whom you know. All right. So I know you know that. You know what I mean. All right. So from Vernon Patterson, I chose this because I work in the Bahamas for about 15 months. So I love the Bahamas educational system. So she said, as I reflect on my years as teacher, I have seen many changes and new innovations. Being able to watch my students gain new information and assimilate this knowledge in the real world is one of the greatest rewards of being a teacher. So what about you? What is your best experience? What is your best reward as a teacher? For me, when I get messages from my students, whether text, chat, or email, thanking me for what I have done to them, even if I don't remember anything actually, but they remember little things that you do to them. So that is a good reward enough. Other than, sometimes they offer you gifts. I have a lot of stories to share for that, but I guess we have limited time already, so let's continue. So there are also 7 characteristics of effective education leaders. Leaders radiate positive energy. So amidst the negativities around you, so just continue to be positive. So as what my surrogate mother said, when you look at the camera, you don't focus at the negative side, but always at the positive side, so that you won't be depressed, you won't be stressed, but you are always positive about things. Leaders lead a balanced life. It's very important that you give time to everything, to your work, to your family, to your friends, personal. So I have a series for this in ECBD. You might consider um, having a video on demand so that you will see more about how to keep a balanced life. Leaders create synergy. It's very important that we connect with people, we collaborate with people, and then we have a positive synergy so that you get things done. Leaders are service oriented. It's very true, right? So we always think of what we can do for others. Leaders believe in other people. So we have to trust people that they can do it. We have to empower them that they can do certain tasks that we give them. Then leaders continually to learn. So there should be no stopping because education is an ongoing process. The more you learn, the more you realize that you still need to learn, right? So leaders see life as an adventure. So if you consider every day as adventure, every day is new, everything is novel, then you love to do it every day because it's always an adventure for you. It's something that you want to enjoy every day. All right. So if you want to be a principal or a school head, so these are the top qualities for a principal: is willing to and actively challenges. So that's the status quo. Has quality contact and interactions with teachers and students. Recognizes and rewards individual accomplishments. So are you doing that? Involves teachers in the design and implementation of important decisions and policies, provides teachers with materials and professional development necessary for the successful execution of their jobs, establish clear goals and keeps those goals in the forefront of the school's attention, establishes a set of standard operating procedures and routines, is directly involved in the design and implementation of curriculum, instruction, and assessment practices, fosters shared beliefs and sense of community and cooperation, and adopts the leader's behavior to the current situations. No? All right, so which of this do you have? Monitors the effectiveness of school practices and their impact on student learning. So the job is challenging, right? But there are rewards that you can reap when you just do your job as a school head. All right, so at a glance, the school's leaders' biggest challenges. So in our recent learning leader survey, we asked education professionals what are the 3 most important pressing challenges you face in your job right now. So principals and assistant principals challenges varied according to their level of experiences. So if they have 0 to 2 years experience, so these are some of the challenges: time, discipline of the student, support of the stakeholders, equity, management, teachers can also be challenged. Learning is also challenged. Student is also challenged. Then social and emotional dimension. And then when they increase to 3 to 5 years, no? So the challenge becomes lesser. So teacher, mental health issues, and then budget still a challenge because there is minimal budget. Time is still a challenge, students still a challenge, and change is also a challenge. But when they stay 5 to 10 years, look at the balloon. It's ballooning, it's getting bigger. So the challenges involve equity, professional learning, staff can also be a challenge. The support still there. Teachers is already a bigger challenge because you could no longer fathom them. Mental health issues still a challenge. Time, level, the classroom, the trauma of the experiences that you go through, and then the students, right? So which of this are you experiencing as a leader? Which of these challenges are you experiencing? Okay, so if you have any questions, so you can raise the questions later on. If there is a time, there's an open forum for this, I'd be willing to answer your questions. Thank you so much. This has been Reynaldo B. Garnace at your service. Thank you so much.